25, driver of 7.5 decades of Caribbean development, host to multi-generational intellectual service to its people, designed and dedicated to detaching them from the colonial scaffold, patron to regional integration, partner in the political democracy and sovereignty agendas, promoter of cultural identity and social multiracialism, gender equality and women's liberation, and advocate of indigenous economic development and broad-based sustainable post-colonial transformation. 7.5 decades of effective teaching and research in support of nation building. Creator of conscious citizens, architects of their existential arrangements. The University of the West Indies, deeply rooted in Caribbean civilization, prepared for 21st century service and rapidly rising as a first-class global institution. At 75, its reputation has never been higher. Its global visibility has never been greater. Ranked in the top 1.5% of the world's finest 30,000 universities, it is on top of its game, #1 in the region, and holding its head high with success. Dignified in its decades of struggle, these outstanding achievements are the results of an unwavering activist commitment to finding solutions to the region's challenges: social equality, economic development, democratic political reform, climate change, public health, sustainable energy, reparatory justice, and many other needs. It is an academy that has been persistent in its search of social upliftment, partnering with indigenous institutions, CARICOM, Caribbean Development Bank, Caribbean Examinations Council, and many others. It has produced and honed the region's finest leaders, from the longest-serving senior statesman, Dr. the Honorable Ralph Gonsalves, to the youngest and most recently elected, the Honorable Dickon Mitchell. It has benefited from the wisdom and vision of non-alumni leaders such as the Honorable Mia Motley, whose call for a new global economic order resonates in the corridors of its classrooms. As an activist university, it was selected in 2019 by the International Association of Universities to lead the Global University Consortium on Sustainable Development Goal 13, Climate Action, in recognition of its decade of distinguished research on climate change. In this role, it received commendation from the Intergovernment Panel on Climate Change in the 6th Assessment Report. It is now recognized as the lead producer of research on small island developing states. Also, as an activist university, it has produced the leadership to build out an association of Caribbean universities, an organization of over 50 universities across the language terrain, unifying the higher education landscape of the Caribbean and driving the regional integration process. Rising to the challenge of COVID-19 management, the UWI mobilized its community of virologists, microbiologists, and epidemiologists to work with the health sector and governments to save lives. With sleeves rolled up, UWI scientists made their societies proud in their effective service. The leading research academy in the region, globally competitive, and ranked as excellent in the generation of new and relevant knowledge, center of gravity of the region's research culture, and host to its finest community of creative writers and artists. The soul and spiritual beat of the civilization. Today, the university sits at the pinnacle of the global reparations movement, seeking justice and a new development paradigm for the region. The world is on the cusp of a major structural transition driven by reparatory justice, an inspired development by CARICOM that calls upon the university to play its part. The university has proclaimed its intention to position itself as the epicenter of digital transformation for the region, building out the capacity for a knowledge economy that is rooted in digital science and propelled by corresponding technologies. The UWI at 75, energized for the future and focused on the region's needs at 2050. A public university sustained by the financial and policy support of regional governments, always seeking to assure them of the positive outcomes of their investments. The UWI, 5 campuses hosting 50,000 students, erupting over 75 years. The region's greatest gift to itself, an excellent ethical university, steeped in the struggles of its people and driven by their finest imaginings. Consolidating the past, the UWI now looks deeply into the future, focusing on claiming and owning that dignified place called the Caribbean world, sophisticated, sovereign, and sustainable. The University of the West Indies, activist at 75, driver of 7.5 decades of Caribbean development, host to multi-generational intellectual service to its people, designed and dedicated to detaching them from the colonial scaffold, patron to regional integration, partner in the political democracy and sovereignty agendas, promoter of cultural identity and social multiracialism, gender equality and women's liberation, and advocate of indigenous economic development and broad-based sustainable post-colonial transformation. 7.5 decades of effective teaching and research in support.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand.
The national anthem of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago.
Please be seated. Welcome to the 2023 graduation ceremony of the Faculties of Humanities, Education, and Sport. Vice-Chancellor Professor Hilary Beckles, Pro-Vice-Chancellor and Campus Principal Professor Rosemary Bell-Antwine, Honorary Graduate Mr. Lawrence Scott, other distinguished members of the Platform Party, valedictorian Ms. Shian St. Hilaire, faculty and staff of the UWI St. Augustine campus, specially invited guests, the graduating class of 2023, family, friends, well-wishers, members of the media. My heartiest congratulations to each graduate of the class of 2023. You have worked hard towards completing your programs of study, and today we are absolutely delighted to be celebrating your accomplishments with you. You may know that this is one of 14 graduation ceremonies taking place across the UWI system. In 1953, 70 years ago, 11 graduates were presented to the then principal of the Mona campus, Dr. Walter Greaves. At the ceremonies this year, more than 9,000 graduates will be presented and cross the stage. This is an impressive demonstration of our intellectual achievement across all age groups and disciplines at bachelor's, master's, and doctoral levels. And I am so very proud of each and every one of you. You are now among 250,000 UWI alumni who serve globally across all disciplines and in all spheres of operations. A former vice-chancellor used to make the point that if all UWI alumni in the Caribbean stayed away from work for one day, all governments, businesses, and civil society organizations would cease to function. You, our graduates, are the most significant and visible contribution that we make to the development of this nation, this region, and internationally. This year, the University of the West Indies is celebrating 75 years of service to the region. Since 1948, the UWI has worked on affirming its position as the premier institution of higher learning in the English-speaking Caribbean. It is acknowledged as a regional institution and has been making significant strides on the global stage, particularly in the areas of biodiversity, climate change, and reparations. UWI faculty members have been making distinguished contributions in these and other areas, and in so doing, bring a claim to your university. Graduates, most of you began your programs during the time of COVID. Some of you before the lockdowns and restrictions, which changed everything. Some of you have completed your programs entirely online, and some in a blended mode. Whatever your experience has been, I hope that apart from your academic programs, that you have been able to form friendships and network with individuals that you met at the university, who will be in prominent positions, as you would be, in this society in the future. What connects us as the English-speaking Caribbean, CARICOM, is the alumni of the University of the West Indies. It is a common thread that exists in every island. And wherever you go in CARICOM, you will find people who are graduates of this university, not necessarily this campus, who will welcome you with open arms. And I ask you, when you meet graduates from other islands, that you do the same. It is a powerful and useful network which you are now part of. As we celebrate today I'm sure that you are reflecting on what the future holds for you. Indeed, all of us are. Several trends are impacting how we consider the future. Progress in technology has been moving rapidly in the last few decades. Globalization has been impacted by information and communication technology. In the space of time that you completed your programs, technology has made significant strides. Zoom alone changed all our lives. The reality is that these amazing developments in technology, particularly artificial intelligence, virtual and augmented reality, have caused our world to shrink to devices that we can carry around in our pockets. Information technology has made the world so much more accessible in many ways. Digital boundaries are disappearing, and globalization is becoming real. These rapid changes in technology create huge opportunities for those of you who unshackle yourself from the past. These islands of the Caribbean, with their small populations and limited land space, no longer need be a limiting factor on our dreams and our ambitions. For those of you who are willing to dream, you have every reason to realize these dreams in this new unlimited age. Whatever you do in the future, I ask that it be impactful with a commitment not just to advancing yourself and your personal aspirations, but also the interests of the wider community. Be kind to yourself. We often forget the importance of taking care of our own health, particularly when we are young. We believe that we are indestructible. In today's new operating environment, mental health is as critical as physical well-being. It is important that you reach out to those among you who may need help and give them support. And it is important those of you that need help should feel free and comfortable to reach out to your colleagues, your friends, and your family for support. It is natural and it is in your best interest. I ask you to give back to your alma mater. There are many ways in which you can do this. You can mentor students, serve as adjunct faculty, or technical advisors in a subject area. There are multiple ways and opportunities to contribute to ensuring that the work and the reputation of the University of the West Indies, which has given you so much, remains at a high level. Wherever you go, the alumni office will be reaching out to you. I hope you will stay connected with your alma mater. This leg of your academic journey is over. My warmest congratulations to each and every one of you, and I hope that you have an enormously successful career and life ahead of you. Thank you. We are met today to mark by a formal ceremony the entry of certain of our members to the company of graduates and the academic achievement of others. As a university, we are an academic society of undergraduates, masters, bachelors, masters, and doctors, and we follow the academic tradition in pursuit of knowledge and encouragement of learning, purposes which are laid down in the preamble of the Royal Charter by which we have been granted the powers needful for the prosecution of our affairs. In pursuing these aims, our members advance from time to time to a higher standing in the academic community, and it is proper that as a body we should celebrate their advancement. It is marked by the granting of a degree or diploma or license or certificate, and we rejoice with our graduates on their advancement.
Chancellor, I now ask the public orator, Dr. Suzanne Burke, to present Mr. Lawrence Scott, whom the Senate and the Council of the University have been pleased to recommend for the award of the degree of Doctor of Letters honoris causa.
Chancellor, like the semi-autobiographical character in his short story, Ballad for the New World, Lawrence Scott has spent a lifetime telling the story of a time, a place, a people, and a world. The world he so beautifully explores is rooted in the entanglements of the plantation legacies that have shaped and continue to shape this region. As Benitez Rojo asserts in his seminal piece, 3 Words Towards Creolization, the plantation signifies the bifurcated center that exists inside and outside at the same time, near to and distant from all the things that we understand as our own: race, nationality, language, religion. In short, our identities as Caribbean citizens. Born on a sugar estate in Mont Plaisir in 1943, where his father was employed as a manager for Tate and Lyle, Scott's memories of the fantastic menagerie of people, animals, landscapes, and the narratives that emerge from the estate underscore Benitez Rojo's assertion about Caribbean identities. After leaving Trinidad and Tobago in 1963, he discovered what he described as his Caribbean voice in England, when he left the monastic life and took up work as a literature teacher at a secondary school where many of his students were of West Indian origin. However, his writing life began in earnest after he returned to Trinidad and Tobago in the late 1970s. During this period, he started writing seriously about the things that troubled him, the things that he says start with a lump in the throat. Chancellor, Lawrence Scott's writing is devoted to unpacking and distilling his memories and the many histories of Trinidad and Tobago, firstly, as a mechanism to work things out in a personal way, and secondly, to examine them in a larger socio-political context. His first 4 highly acclaimed novels, Witch Room, 1992, All Red Sin, 1999, Night Calypso, 2004, and Light Falling on Bamboo, 2012, are set in or inspired by memories of Trinidad and Tobago. Indeed, they all lay bare the many contradictions and connections that make up the tapestry of Caribbean life. Scott's mastery of the short story form is just as well renowned. In his 2 collections and numerous contributions to anthologies, his stories lift the veil from the everyday lives of ordinary folk to reveal the reservoirs of courage and heroism they consistently summon up to live with dignity. A writer's writer, Scott has also devoted significant energy to academic endeavors, most notably through his teaching and commentaries on the work of other Caribbean writers, which has helped to build scholarship for and about the region. His literary contributions have attracted many prestigious awards, including the 1999 Commonwealth Writers' Prize for Orwell Sin, the 1986 Tom Gallen Award for his short story, The House of Funerals, the 2012 Lifetime Literary Award from the Nalis, and the 2009 recognition as Fellow of the Royal Society of Literature. Chancellor, through his body of work, Lawrence Scott has employed the devices of remembering and erasure to illuminate the myriad ways of being Caribbean in the world. He has done so with a deftness and subtlety that echoes the Caribbean yearning to belong, a sentiment that is poignantly expressed by Philip, a character in his short story, King Sailor One Juve Morning, when Philip recognizes that if given the space, he could do the dance. Today, we declare that Scott has successfully claimed his space and danced not only for himself, for the society's marginalized, but for us all. Chancellor, for his contribution to the Caribbean literary canon, I present Mr. Lawrence Scott and ask by the authority vested in you by the Council and Senate of the University of the West Indies, you confer on him the degree of Doctor of Letters, honoris causa.
By the authority vested in me by the Senate and Council of the University of the West Indies, I now confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Letters, honoris causa, of this university. Congratulations, Dr. Scott. Dr. Scott will now address the company.
Good morning to all of you. Good morning. Chancellor Mr. Robert de Bermudez, Vice-Chancellor Professor Hilary Beckles, Pro-Vice-Chancellor and Campus Principal Professor Rose-Marie Bell Antoine, and other distinguished members of the Platform Party. Valedictorian Ms. Cheyenne Saint-Hilaire, faculty and staff of the University of the West Indies St. Augustine campus, specially invited guests, graduating class of 2023, friends, family, and well-wishers, members of the media. It is a privilege for me to be here with you to receive this honorary doctorate, and it is a particular privilege to be asked to address you, graduates of 2023. Though I have not been a student and graduate of the university like you've been, I've felt for many years as if I have been. This is an honor from the university, which has been so generous to me over the years, giving me so many friends and associates. Before I share those memories and tell you those stories, I want to congratulate you on the completion of your degrees, and in particular for your achievements against so many odds that you must have had to battle with through the last years due to COVID. I hope that there has not been too much sadness during this time and that you, your families, and friends are all in good health. Memory has nothing to do with the faraway gone. Memory is the muscle sting of now, says David Chariandi, the Trinidad-Canadian writer, in his novel Brother. This is my sort of text today as I stand here, the memories coming in fast, as if indeed the muscle sting of now. I first knew this landscape, and you must imagine you're on the campus right now, under the shade of the samans and on the steps of what I knew at the age of 4 or 5 in 1947-48 as the Imperial College of Tropical Agriculture. I was being taken out for my afternoon walk as a small boy of colonial Trinidad, crossing the railway line from McCarthy Street in the care of Alma Thomas, who worked for my godmother. I went to a kindergarten the other side of the campus, just around the corner. Later, after my primary school at Boys RC in San Fernando, I came to the hills above us, to the Abbey School at Mount St. Benedict, Tunapuna. The salmon-shaded spot and these hills above us have resonated with me and for my writing as part of the landscape of Trinidad I have always carried in the luggage of my memory. I'm sure you can interest me with your own memories of your special landscapes. As Dr. Burke told you, I left Trinidad in 1963, a very young, green 19-year-old. I left to follow an early ideal, to seek perfection. What did I know about anything? I would put up so many warning signs now around that kind of enthusiasm which can come strangely in youth, tutored in obsessions. I wanted to be a monk. From a strong traditional Roman Catholic family, it was not unusual. But to leave everything and never to return would scream sirens for me now in someone that young and green. Well, I was brave enough to change direction after 4.5 years. The moral of this story is, do not be afraid to change your mind from something that seemed to be the most certain thing you knew. Do not be afraid to confront what might look like a kind of failure or carry on mistakenly to please others. I learned a saying recently: follow your heart and heal yourself. We are celebrating achievements today, but failures can come, and you have to restore yourself. You have heard of my achievements from Dr. Burke. That's one way of telling the story. But as you know, it is not just on your own that you can achieve, nor is it as easy as it sounds. I left the monastery, cut a long story short, took an English language and literature London external degree, didn't do that well, failed, and started again, distracted, many choices or no choices, the theatre being one of them. It was teaching English and drama that settled me down. More importantly, it was while reading Sam Selvon's Ways of Sunlight to a class of West Indian children in London that I found such a connection between my reading of Sam's prose and their response that I knew then that I had to return to Trinidad to teach and to write. As one commentator in writing of one of my novels put it, he exchanged the habit of a monk for the habit of writing. When my wife, Jenny, who is here today, one of those I could not have achieved without, came to live in Trinidad in 1977 as teachers, the university, and in particular what is now the Faculty of Humanities and Education, were important to us. The late 1970s was the time of the introduction of the CXC, the founding of Tutor, and the Teachers of English Association, in all three of which I was deeply involved. It was also at that time that I was working at the Little Carib Theatre. Derek Walcott. It is indescribable how much I owe to his work. Was in Port of Spain each year in those days with a play. I was finding out, without even knowing it, what and how I wanted to write. I'm aware of other writers and other recipients of honors who have preceded me. And I am thinking particularly of Earl Lovelace this morning. When Jenny and I first met Earl and his family, Trinidad, like I had never known it before, opened up for us. Certainly for Jenny, an entirely new experience of place and people. But for myself, a Trinidad I knew, but felt that I had not had any access to it as a young person. I had said to Earl quite soon after meeting him, and he is here this morning, one of my guests, that I wanted to write. I thought I was going to promptly have a long talk about how to do that. No. Well, you must get on with it, he said. It was later the example of his life, his books that were coming out, the plays, and the incessant discussion about almost every aspect of Trinidad life that slowly opened me up to what I really wanted to do, as well as teaching. How was I to do that? I had no real idea. I just got on with it. I read and read, I faced the empty page, and later the empty screen. What I knew was that I loved Trinidad. And I knew when I got that lump in my throat, something would begin. I would get a first line and it built. Each time with each story, each book, it was a whole new start. But it was also the politics of the time that inspired our talk. The 1970s was revolutionary. The late 70s I consider a golden age for theatre, dance, novels, poetry, art, pan, calypso, and carnival. But I envy you your time. I wonder what you think still needs to change. What would you want to change? There is a lot that must still change and develop. I hope that that is what you will, among your own ideas, want to pursue, necessary change. Over the years, the university, through many friends and associates, some of whom are my guests here today, others part of this assembly this morning, has encouraged me with my writing and facilitated my teaching, research, and the archiving of my work in the West Indiana collection, a collective memory of the processes of my books. I'm sure you are remembering your mentors, teachers, and friends as you're on the cusp of change in your own lives. I just want to depart from my script for a second as I look at my friends. All of them have become quite eminent over the years. But for me, they were just my wife, Jenny. I see Funsho Ayajina, who was a student at the same time of writing, and then invited me to teach here on the MFA course. Earl, I have mentioned. Marjorie Thorpe, very strangely, actually started teaching my short stories before they were even published, and is a support all through the years. Bridget Barrington, you all know her very well. I had to get advice when I was trying to write historical novels and what was probable and what was possible when people were having romances. And Glenroy Tate, who has invited me to deposit my archive in West Indiana. I am grateful for all the interest. Writers need that. And when you've gone away and you come back, you just need that kind of embrace. And of course, there are members of my family here. And I'm going to say something about them just now. But there are some others who are no longer with us, whom I want to remember. Gordon Roller, Michael Anthony, Jennifer Rahim, and Brinsley Samaru, writers whom some of you will have studied and been taught by, and from whom I learned to write and appreciate books and research. You're here with some members of your family, and I am with some of mine. Let me introduce you to my niece, Suzanne Gransall, and her husband, John, my nephew, Gregory Sherner Scott, with his wife, Deborah. They represent themselves, of course. So glad they can be here this morning. But they also represent my extended family, my mother and father, their grandparents. My mother, in particular, was a great storyteller, a source of memories, and an inspiration to me, and not least as the gold medalist, Hélène Lage, as she was then, in the senior Cambridge examination of 1920 at St. Joseph's Convent in Port of Spain. She is also part of this immediate landscape that I talked about at the beginning of my address. Her father, Dr. André Lage, had been the district medical officer for this area, living just across the Eastern Main Road from UWI. My mother and father were married in 1927 at the nearby beautiful St. Joseph Catholic Church. Look after your memory. We can lose things easily. All images disappear, as Annie Ernaux, the 2022 Nobel laureate, says in her book, The Years. Memory is at the root of my novels and stories and poems for Trinidad. Explorations of history, dealing with what remains and what is erased, concerning race, family, and sexuality. Derek Walcott says, history is fiction, subject to a fitful muse, memory. In time, every event is an exertion of memory and is thus subject to invention. You can puzzle over that thought and read Walcott's essay, The Muse of History, if you have not done so already. Good luck, congratulations again, and many thanks for listening.
We shall now have a musical performance. Nicholas Sylvan, a graduate at the University of the Southern Caribbean and a current member of the UWI Arts Wind Ensemble. This morning he performs The Prayer.
Sir, the persons whose names will be called studied in the University of the West Indies. And having fulfilled the requirements of the University of the West Indies, beg leave to be presented to you and to the Senate of the University by the representatives of the Faculties of Humanities and Education and Sport as Bachelors of Arts, Education, Bachelors of Science, or as holders of diplomas or certificates of the University of the West Indies. Sir, the Dean, Faculty of Humanities and Education, Professor Elizabeth Walcott Hackshaw.
Sir, my colleagues and I ask you to receive, as graduate members of our society, these persons present who, having fulfilled the requirements of the university, have been admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Education, or have been awarded diplomas or certificates of the university.
By the authority vested in me, I receive these persons whose names are about to be called as graduate members of our society and confer first degrees, diplomas, and certificates of this university.
Bachelor of Arts. With first-class honors, Rain Afonso. Brianna Anderson. With first-class honors, Mary Ayang. Kelsey Badal. With first-class honors, Chelsea Bailey. Alina Bash. Keon Batiste. Sanaya Bideshi. Terrell Betoudier. Anjali Bola. Belize Bob. Venetia Boudou. Matthew Boswell Innes. Ariel Boynes Mohan. Shannon Bramble. Denisha Charles. Narissa Charles. Tishai Shasu. Tai Koryat. Hi. Jaeda David. With first-class honors, Keon Doman. Crystal Edwards. Kaya Edwards. Suzette Edwards. With first class honors, Rian Ellis. With first class honors, Solange Ellis. Nakia Emmanuel. Jessica English. Cameron Felix. With first class honors, Brianna Ford. Carice Gabriel. Mika George. Joshua Jawahir. With first class honors, Sanya John. Mackenzie Jordan. Makeda Julian. With first class honors, Adira Khan. With first class honors, Talia Khan. Renata Konjibihari. With first class honors, Avatika Lalchan. Dominic Lala. With first class honors, Ashrita Lawrence. Cheyenne Lotan. Celine Mahabir. Lennox Marcel. With first class honors, Marlon Matura. Ariane MacDonald. With first class honors, Alvaya Mir. With first class honors, Bilkis Mohammed. With first class honors, Sophia Mohammed. Natanya Mola. With first class honors, Shalini Munsahar. With first class honors, Uchenna Myers. Naila Nakid. Aliyah Naris. Matisa Noel. Talia Osborne. With first class honors, Danae Paul. Teja Prasad. Mark Anthony Peter. With first class honors, Donnell Filbert. Aaron Phillip. Joshua Phillip. Andrea Pierre Saint-Hilaire. Ronalisa Prady. Sean Quinton. Jesse Rodbeer. With first class honors, Aliyah Raghunath Maharaj. Khadija Rama. Nisha Ramlal. Davi Ramnarain. Michaela Ramutar. Anika Ramprasad. Ariana Ramsahai. Vani Ramsubag. Neelam Ramsumir. Renee Race. With first class honors, Ronnie Richardson. Renee Roberts. With first class honors, Brittany Rupchan. Priya Rupnarain. Ariana Scipio. With first class honors, Aliyah Scott. Malka Suanarain. Marielle Sims. Rihanna Ciceran. Salima Sukur. Shania Sukram. With first class honors, Cheyenne Saint-Hilaire. Jordan Steele. Sean Tavares. Aaron Thompson. Tamia Thompson. Sinesi Fialva. With first class honors, Shania Warris. With first class honors, Roll Watson. With first class honors, Maurice White. Michaela Lewis. Solana Haridan. Danraj Singh. With first class honors, Shakira Burton. With first class honors, Curlat Boni. With first class honors, Addison Ferdinand. Precious Hudlin. Atia McDowell. Certificate in Music, Luke Corby. Certificate in Speech Language Pathology, Takia Moore. Certificate in Visual Arts, Shanika Fletchman. Bachelor of Education, Samantha Ajuda with first class honors. With first class honors, Shizelle Ayong. Laura Barnes. With first class honors, Amila Budram. With first class honors, Anika Celestine. Anika Celestine. Solange Del Pino. Jillian Dillon Stewart. With first class honors, Jalen Donald. Imani Edwards. Zakaya Felician. With first class honors, Andre Forrester. Kurtiana Fraser. Nicola Gabriel. Erlene Haynes. Gregory Holder. With first class honors, Shania Holder. Kyla Marie Homer. With first class honors, Nyla Hoyt. Yeah. Curlin Hutchinson. With first class honors, Candice Jacobs. With first class honors, Kizzy Ann James. Shaquille Julian. With first class honors, Adelphia Lalian. Natyla Langton Navas. Nyla Lachman. Divya Manu. Varun Maraj. Brion Matura. Soraya Mohammed. With first class honors, Aisha Moore. Donna Mora. Chanel Murphy. With first class honors, Carmel Neptune Nimblet. Natasha Pantalon Gibbs. Susan Patwa. Narayan Prasad. Sharice Rajkumar. With first class honors, Kavita Ramnarayan Chun. With first class honors, Ramdai Ramnarayan Singh. With first class honors, Cindy Ramprasad. Ariane Ramsey. With first class honors, Stephen Ramtahal. Janaya Raphael. Rakisha Ross. Chantal Scott. Louise Sinanan. Mitra Sergiu. Kadisha Stanley. Narisa Tilak. Fidelia Thorne. Nishala Danraj. Candice Bola. Rizwana Ali. Giovanni Charles. Certificate in Dance and Dance Education, Kendra Murray. Certificate in Early Childhood Care and Development, Alyssa Applewhite. Taisha Bristol. Gracia Cooper. Kizzy Davidson. Abigail Gannis. Akia George. Celeste Granderson. Anissa Sanaton. Zara Serju. Atia Williams.
Sir, the representative of the Dean, Faculty of Sport, Dr. Anand Ramprasad.
Sir, my colleagues and I ask you to receive as graduate members of our society these persons present who, having fulfilled the requirements of the university, have been admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Science or have been awarded certificates of this university.
By the authority vested in me, I receive these persons whose names are about to be called as graduate members of our society and confer first degrees and certificates of this university.
Bachelor of Science, Vinaya Budram. Clayton Knott. Brittany Mahabir. Nan Sukan. First class honors, Kirsten St. Omer. Certificate in the Art and Science of Coaching, Sydney Lezama.
I now call upon Shian Saint-Hilaire Bachelor of Arts, major in Communication Studies, with a minor in Public Sector Management, with first-class honors, to deliver the valedictory address.
Chancellor, Mr. Robert Bermudez, Vice Chancellor, Professor Sir Hilary Beckles, Pro Vice Chancellor and Campus Principal, Professor Rosemary Bellantoine, Honorary Graduate, Mr. Lawrence Scott, other distinguished members of the Platform Party, faculty and staff of the UWI St. Augustine campus, specially invited guests, graduating class of 2023, friends, family, and well-wishers, members of the media, good morning. Indecisive, unsure, can't make up her mind, can't settle on a career path, always confused. These were the new titles of the chapters in my story given by those closest to me after I had, according to them, abandoned my lifelong dream of becoming a doctor. During my last years at secondary school, I had gone from declaring boldly that I wished to be a surgeon to answering very robotically that I wanted to be an economist, which later changed to me deciding to pursue law. Truthfully though, I was in a state of limbo and felt directionless. But to avoid the countless lectures and looks of disbelief that I'd get with the response, "I don't know what I want to be," at 19 years old, in the Caribbean, I jumped back and forth between economics and law, silently hoping that one of my choices would stick with me. Clearly, none did. Like me, I'm sure many of us can relate to having a set, rigid idea of what we wanted to be, where we wanted to be, and who we wanted to become by a particular age. But life has such a funny and interesting way of completely and so drastically altering our trajectories that oftentimes it can feel as though you'd often end up right back to square one. But as daunting as this uncertainty may seem, these diversions in our singular stories lead us to exactly where we need to be. Good morning again, everyone. My name is Cheyenne Saint-Hilaire, and I am delighted to stand before you today to deliver the valedictory address on behalf of the Faculty of Humanities and Education and the Faculty of Sport. Despite us being here this morning, our journey to arrive was in no way easy, but let us see the beauty in it rather than the hardship. It can be so simple for those who have not spent a singular day in our shoes to lump our time at the UWI as uncomplicated and unchallenging. Some of us on the receiving end of the usual motivational phrases. Back in my day, when I was in school, things were harder for me because, from our relatives, all while we bottled our feelings of anonymity, discomfort, and disconnect because of the sudden launch into a new environment. Pursuing our degrees in the new normal intensified imposter syndrome, feelings of inadequacy, the shreds of doubt plaguing our minds, and of course, breakdowns. Personally, I'm guilty of at least 5 per semester. It was almost inevitable to drown in the sea of thousands who enrolled, with our chapters bearing the titles of uncertainty and apprehension. The pandemic forced us to rethink the university experience as our homes and bedrooms became our classrooms. At this point in time, we were quite literally taking the UWI campus with us wherever we resided. Those of us who craved in-person interactions and those who finally decided to break out of their introverted shells missed out on the vibrancy of face-to-face connections. Similarly, our friends from other countries were shortchanged of the chance to immerse themselves fully in new cultures. However, some thrived in the online environment, content with screen-delivered lessons. While we had become more keen on the convenience and comfort of online school, the UE announced the resumption of face-to-face classes in 2022. One common aspect that remained consistent throughout both online and in-person classes, though, was the fear of submitting a late assignment with seconds to spare, the challenges of group work, begging for extensions, praying that they would be granted, and providing proof of a power outage during online quizzes. Together with the year ones, we were also freshers, not knowing where to find any buildings. And even when we asked our lecturers, they too weren't sure about a specific location, forgetting the layout of campus. Eventually, though, we got into a routine, and as time progressed, we figured it out. The mere act of us sitting here today demonstrates our development of strength and fortitude as we've defied those labels and made our way back to the shore. So what's next? The big question that also doubles as a source of crippling anxiety and worry. For most, the societal expectation is that at this point, a portion of our stories should be permanently written, especially given the uncertainties that surround the future of our country and our world. We reside in an extremely competitive environment where we are encouraged to rise to the top by any means necessary. Additionally, there is the misconception that if you don't have it all figured out by this stage, you get left behind. But I would have to disagree. It is okay to not know. It is okay to switch and make changes. It is okay to ask for help, even if it means being forced out of your comfort zone. And most importantly, it is okay to start over and switch, even if it's multiple times, to get it right. I did, and it was through these very moments of uncertainty that I discovered what I was passionate about. While these ambiguities are scary, the best way to truly define your purpose is to slow down and get to know yourself. All our lives, we've been caught up, whether in the rigors of academia, family life, work, and the pressure of external circumstances. And in that process, we've neglected the self. This lack of not knowing who we are and what we genuinely want results in the absence of clarity. Through introspection, you gain confidence, know your voice, and your heart's desires. Self-discovery also allows us to gain the understanding that you are never ever one identity, but it is in your intersectionality and complexity as a Caribbean person that you are unique, multidimensional, and equipped to bring to the world what no one else can. Honestly, this process will be really hard. Any self-development journey is. The growing pains we will experience are necessary for our progress, so I implore you to give yourself grace when making mistakes and never underestimate what you will learn from them. Graduates, you have the potential to shape a better world by embracing hope, surmounting challenges, and defining the space for who you aspire to become, all within a world of enhanced connectivity and more abundant opportunities than ever before. This is an age marked by a growing consciousness and heightened awareness, providing you with a unique chance to contribute to the creation of a new world grounded in the principles of equity, justice, and love. When you flip through these pages of your story, you will know it was worth it, and you answered the call to participate in the wider Caribbean society as the ideal UWI graduate. Luckily for us, and even if you have not realized it as yet, the UWI was an environment that facilitated our beginning steps towards self-actualization, and for that, we can be grateful. Recognizing this, it is only fitting that we offer our heartfelt appreciation and recognition to the deserving characters who played a role in our educational chapter. To our dedicated lecturers, tutors, and mentors who went above and beyond in their dedication to our learning, and others whose unconventional methods challenged us to rise to the occasion, we thank you for your lessons. We extend our gratitude to all other members of staff, administrative, library, security, ancillary, who, behind the scenes, tirelessly worked to ensure our challenges were met with solutions. To our friends and families, our unwavering support systems who stood by us through every plot twist and happy moment, we are grateful. Thank you also to my mom, who's my #1 supporter. To our fellow graduates, all with diverse backgrounds and dreams, you were our companions with whom we have forged lifelong bonds. And of course, to the unseen but ever-present author of our story, we thank God for his unwavering guidance and the grace that has been the invisible hand in shaping our destinies. The UWI is forever woven into our experiences and has shaped our personal narratives. Now that we have graduated, let us not forget that we have a duty to contribute positively to our society and the world. Even as we've achieved a new educational milestone, let us remember how fortunate we are as many people do not have access to the same opportunities. Let us never forget the basic lessons of kindness, humility, generosity, and the other small nuggets of wisdom we've learned from our elders, as sometimes those are exactly what will open doors that our formal education may not. Though we've grown academically over the last few years, let us also not neglect the need to grow socially, spiritually, and mentally. It is this type of holistic growth that connects the informed and uninformed, as well as those who are privileged and those who are not. With all that is going on across the globe, we must never become silent onlookers who live in a cocoon, believing that once we are okay, then the world is okay. Get out of that bubble. We are called to do and to serve. Let us strive to create change, no matter how small. As I close, I want to remind you that in all you do, embrace the value of your voice, for it is the pen with which you will use to continue to write the other chapters in the story of your life. If for some reason you don't think that it is strong enough, I want you to recall the words of Golda Lee Bruce. The voice comes if you speak. Your story is invaluable. Use it to encourage, to uplift, and to inspire. Congratulations on your well-deserved success, class of 2023. Thank you.
Sir, I now ask Professor Audrey Henry Lee, Pro Vice Chancellor, Graduate Studies and Research, assisted by Professor Durasamy Saravanakumar, Director, School for Graduate Studies and Research, to present to you members of our society for the award of high degrees of this university.
So, I present to you these members of our society who, having fulfilled the requirements of this university, have been awarded postgraduate certificates, diplomas, and have been admitted to the master's degrees, and beg that you recognize their advancement in our society.
By the authority vested in me I confer on these persons whose names are about to be called postgraduate certificates, diplomas, and master's degrees of this university and recognize their advancement in our society.
Sir, from the Faculty of Humanities and Education, School of Humanities, for postgraduate certificate in University Teaching and Learning, I present Letitia Addison. Chris Manohar. Sharida Mohammed. Vijay Anand Rajamanikam. Alana Sanko. Syed Rashid Hussain Shah. From School of Education, Postgraduate Diploma in Education, I present Adhim Ali. Sir, with distinction, Kathleen Aman. Vidya Amar Singh. Jade Botton. Kelsey Batu. Sir, with distinction, Patrice Benjamin Hunt. Crystal Bentham Mayers. Arun Bisasar. Tricia Bisoon Khan. Sir, with distinction, Kathleen Black. Sir, with distinction, Sherry Bridgelal. Sir, with distinction, Lisha Burke. Rhoda Christopher. Sir, with distinction, Candice Copin. Renika Dapitin. Laurel Davis. Sir, with distinction, Viana Dinu. Sir, with distinction, Janelle Edwards. Shillan Estrada. Anita Fraser. Andre Frederick. Melissa Gayadin. Kadisha Hippolyte, Alicia Lal, Kissy Lafone Whiskey, Sir, with distinction, Andra Madhu Askar Ali, Sir, with distinction, Dayan Maharaj Suku, Alison Mason, Sir, with distinction, Nichols McKenna, Shamila Mohammed, Sir, with distinction, Christopher Mohib, Sir, with distinction, Sheralda Moore, Lisa Pereira Omardi, Sir, with distinction, Cherise Pierre, Sir, with distinction, Ambika Ramdas, Raju Ramdas, Sir, with distinction, Rihanna Ramjuk Singh, Sir, with distinction, Amrita Rampasad Samuj, Sir, with distinction, Lucette Regis, Sian Sadal, Neil Simon, Neil Simon, Jonathan Singh, Sarita Singh, Sir, with distinction, Nivana Siju, Brittany Smith, Sir, with distinction, Jeneline Smith Drayton, Sir, with distinction, Alvin Stewart, Lonel Senhile, Sir, with distinction, Alana Sween, Sir, with distinction, Sarah Tulsi, Davida Vikram, Sir, from the School of Humanities for Postgraduate Diploma in Arts and Cultural Enterprise Management, I present Joseph Bertrand with distinction. Sir, with merit, Chloe Bishop. Sir, from Global Campus for Master of Education, Teaching and Learning with Emerging Technologies, I present Odia Gift Pompi. Sir, with distinction, Natifa Lennon. Sir, with distinction, Jenny Shipio. for Master of Education in Literacy Instruction, I present Tina Ramjatan John. Sir, from St. Augustine campus, for Master of Arts in Leadership in Technical and Vocational Education and Training and Workforce Development, I present Delores Adams Carrington. Sir, with distinction, Anisha Karuth Walcott. Sir, with distinction, Josanne Cox. Sir, with distinction, Katrina Rosales. Sir, for Master of Education, Concentration in Curriculum, I present Sharon Ramlal with merit. Meenakshi Ramadar with merit. Malin Ratiram Mungru. Sir, for Master of Education, Concentration in Youth Guidance, I present Nadia Pierre. Dara Lee Williams. Sir, for Master of Education in Health Promotion, I present Annette Augustus. Sir, with distinction, Shioma Ekimeri. Josephine Williams with merit. Sir, for Master of Education in Educational Leadership, I present Akiba Antoine. Crystal Betis. Anuradha Bastio Sipasat with merit. Crystal Diaz McDonald. Daniel Huggins. Crystal Isidore. Sir, with distinction, Atri Laban. Sarah Priscilla. Sadhana Ramroop. Sir, for Master of Education in Inclusive and Special Education, I present Demika Guerra Lawrence. Kimi Aibal. Sir, with distinction, Trisiana Prudhomme. Dishal Salman Joseph. Sir, from Global Campus, for Master of Arts in English Language, I present Ronaldo Baines. Ella Davis. Shana Francis. Sir, from Mona Campus, for Master of Arts in Archives and Records Management, I present Shivana Shah with distinction. Sir, from St. Augustine Campus, for Master of Arts in Cultural Studies, I present Tamara Dabrio. Sir, for Master of Arts in Human Communication Studies, I present Marina Murai. Sir, for Master of Arts in Literatures in English, I present Shusha Maraj with distinction. Kelly Jeffrey with merit. J.L. Jones. Sir, with distinction, Khalifa Islop. Lafawn Munro with merit. Amika Robinson with merit. Nika Adonis Marks with merit.
So, I present to you these members of our society who, having fulfilled the requirements of this university, have been admitted to the degree of Doctor of Education and Doctor of Philosophy, and beg that you recognize their advancement in our society.
By the authority vested in me, I confer on these persons whose names are about to be called the degree of Doctor of Education and Doctor of Philosophy of this university, and recognize their advancement in our society.
From the Global Campus, Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership, Adana Adams Robinson. Lucy Bideau. Teresa Charles. Cecilia Hall. Paula Valley Thom. Silla Waldron Joseph. From the Mona campus, Doctor of Philosophy in Educational Administration, Natasha John, with high commendation. From the St. Augustine campus, Doctor of Philosophy in Education, Sean Butler. Avinash Jakri. Nadia Laptis Francis. Alicia Lucien Batiste. Christy Phillips. Amanda Ramutar. Pauline Whiteman. Doctor of Philosophy in French, Carla Bascom, with high commendation.
I now call on the President of the UWI Alumni Association, Trinidad and Tobago Chapter, Mr. Sheridan Woodruff, to lead the graduates in reciting the Alumni Pledge. Class of 2023, I invite you to please stand and repeat after me as I welcome you into the alumni community, our alumni pledge. As a graduate of the University of the West Indies, I commit myself to uphold the ideals and goals of my alma mater, to conduct and voice shall reflect the commitment to excellence of the light rising from the West, as I fulfill my social and professional responsibilities and serve my community and region. I will strive to ensure the UWI's place as a Caribbean icon, the catalyst for Caribbean development and leadership. It is a legacy that I will proudly help build for future generations. The UWI, first in our hearts and first in our region. I invite you to continue standing as we will be led in, to remain standing as we join in singing the university song, which can be found on page 96 of the booklet. We will be led by the UE Arts Chorale. Thank you. And that is everyone. We ask to stand, please. Could the class of 23 stay standing and everyone else sit down, please? This is going to bring us to the end of this ceremony. But before you do that, I think that the valedictorian spoke to the issue of what an important role her mother played in her journey at the University of the West Indies, indeed in her journey of life. And I think that is true to every single one of you of the graduating class this year, that your family and your friends, your parents have played a huge role and supported you in the difficult times and rejoiced in the good times. Many of them are here in the hall this morning, and I would like you all to turn to your family and friends and show them how much you appreciate what they've done for you to get you so far. That didn't seem loud enough. Come on, you can do better than that. This brings to a close the public ceremony by which the University of the West Indies has signaled the award of degrees, diplomas, and certificates to its graduates. The company will not now disperse, but not before I invite the graduates to remain standing while everyone else sits, as a photo of the graduating class will be taken. Our marketing and communication specialist will speak to you now.
Congratulations, graduates. Over here. The family members and friends in the audience, we're very happy to have you here, but we do have an assignment for you. You need to get your phones ready because we are going to create an Instagrammable moment. Graduates, please pick up your canisters. Put down your books, but pick up your canisters, please. Family, friends, you have one assignment. And since the Faculty of Humanities and Education, they're present here today, I certainly hope you've educated your loved ones on how to do a boomerang. So family, friends, are you ready? To the graduates, congratulations again. When I count to 3, I would like you to raise those canisters very high and start to wave them. Everybody's waiting for this moment. Photographers, videographers, we want this moment to go viral. So family, ready? Let's do this. On my count of 3, start to wave and put a lot of energy into it, please. 1, 2, 3. Let's wave. Very nice. Thank you very much.
Well, the University of the West Indies has given you the tools you're going to need to have a successful life. Remember that this is your place and this is your time. Go and have a great life. Thank you.